Good morning, everybody. Today is August the 9th, also known as my birthday, so happy birthday to me, and with that birthday comes 2 nacelles mounted onto the Enterprise. Finally was able to go back, get this nacelle taken care of. Mainly, the wiring bit to get the Bassart back working was really easy. The hard bit was getting the seam back corrected, because of course, once you have something glued and then you take it apart, sometimes you have an issue with the seam. So but we've gone in, gotten that taken care of. Take a look top and the bottom as well. I have a little bit of putty work that I'm going to have to do around here with the connection, because that did gap out just a little bit more than what it was supposed to when I was working to get the nacelle back apart, because I really had this stuff glued down because I wasn't ready to take anything back apart. But that'd be an easy fix, get the colors corrected and go on from there. But as you can see, everything's looking good. Bassart collector is working nicely, so we've got 2 working nice Bassart collectors. Everything painted up rather well. As you taking a look here at the paint color, I know not everybody would just be 100% happy with the color that I've chosen for the ship, but actually, it really does work really well. Let me explain why that is. Because of the colors that I use, it actually switches. Depending on the amount of light or shadow that's on the ship, you see either a lot of gray or a hint of blue inside of it. And for instance, looking down in the nacelle, I see a little bit more gray right about now. If I catch the pylon in the shadow, not necessarily at this angle, you look at between the two, you see more gray. Here you have a little bit of blue, here you've got gray, and it just looks like it doesn't mate at all. But when you switch the ship and you're turning it around, it actually does. It works out just right, and that to me looks super cool. I really love that. And like I said, with the colors of everything else, the accent color like you have right there on the front of the dorsal, and also what's there on the front of the pylon. I come around, there it is. I come around there and you can see it, where you come around here and it just kind of fades out slowly and surely. That's what I wanted, and I love it. So once I get the saucer painted with all that, as you can see here, saucer is together. Everything's working. Everything's nice. Beacons are working. Thanks again. I believe his name's Mike for the... actually Thomas, rather. Sorry. For the Tender Controls board sent to me for free. Actually, thank you so very much. And I can't say enough about this model kit actually just coming together so nicely and so evenly. If I can get us to focus back in, I can say even more about it. There we go. But yeah, this is just a wonderful model kit, and you've seen the direction that I built it up. And the directions that state once you're putting it together, turn it upside down, have some kind of rig going with books or something so that everything turns out even. Building it literally from the bottom upwards, and getting all your pieces in there, it fits so well and so snug. Even doing it that way, once you get it together, there is no sag going on between the level of the saucer, between the level of the nacelles, and the nacelles themselves. There's no difference in their level. They are perfectly 120% level. Looks very good. All the lighting still is working great. You can see my strobe back here for the ion pod. Again, that is not white, that is a UV bulb, which I ground down a whole heck of a lot to fit inside of the part that goes in there. But it looks really nice. Different color for an ion pod, but it matches quite well. I have this dome on back here. As you can see, a little bit of tinting of the colors on the inside of that. I'm leaving it clear, even though here on screen it's actually kind of coming out a little blue. A little green. It's not tinted at all. So I guess that works out pretty good, for the camera versus what you're seeing in actuality. Have the lights back here on the ends of the nacelles. Ooh, kind of got a little bit of a glare right there. Yeah, give you a little J.J. Abrams feel right there for it. And then, of course, when you stick an end cap on the end of there, the light that you have coming through the end of that is really cool. Now, that'll be painted a darker color, and then the ball that'll sit right here, it'll be the regular kit part ball. That spacing is just open enough for that ball to sit on the inside of there. That'll be painted chrome, so it'll reflect a little bit of this light that's shining out of there. I think that'll look really, really cool. Can't wait to get that painted so I can make sure 100% it's going to be what I'm looking for. These are just kind of sat in there right now. I don't have those painted up. Well, they're painted up, but I don't have those glued down as yet. Probably go through and get that done here in a moment. And all these wires are still hanging out because I did want to discuss just for a moment, you know, the direction I have to take for getting the nacelles onto the pylons. You know, this is not the polarized lighting kit that you can get with this model. And that being said, you know, you note from earlier videos that the motors that I use are much larger than what's actually comes in that polarized kit, so it doesn't just slide into that little hole that's on these parts. I had to, you know, cut all that out, hollow it all out, and then mount those motors. Well, I wound up having to mount the bassar collectors onto the nacelles, onto the rest of the nacelle, before putting it all together. So these were just completed subsections. And that being said, I had to have all the wires coming around somehow so that I could get everything wired up, versus having this in, you know, just out and then doing all the connections in the front, even with the nacelles on the pylons, and then putting this on last. So I had all the wires that were long coming out of the pylons, and long still inside of the nacelles, and the ones in the nacelles coming out of here, so that I would be able to get the wiring. Let me see if we can get off up in the inside of that gap back there at the top of the pylon. You can actually see it right there, that gray bit amongst all the gold. You know, the wires are coming up through there, and, you know, just curved them around, reached in with a pair of pliers and pulled them through, and sat the nacelle down on top of the pylon, and went together, no problems at all, you know. So I have to go back now and get all the wires soldered up, and then get those puppies laid down on the bottom there, and be nice and good to go and ready for the inserts to go right there. So as you can see as well, I don't know if I discussed this in a previous vid, but, you know, for the lighting on the insides here of the nacelles, you know, since I am going to do that, I did make little boxes to go over those lights, because I didn't want the individual bulbs from the light strip to kind of give you a glare and give individual hot spots on that outside, you know, on the clear part that I'll be cutting and making to fit inside of that piece. So made the little boxes, and they look really, really cool. They actually do the job, and then once the clear pieces are frosted, it's going to do the job even more. So, you know, just trying to eliminate hot spots. I don't like hot spots unless it's purposely done. You know, for instance, on the bassar collectors, you know, when certain lights are going off and stuff, you know, you have those hot spots. But other than that, yeah, I'm not a fan of it. But as you can see, the lighting in the saucer is really, really good, really, really nice and clear. And we've got, you know, all of the lighting going on in this kitchen, and you still see all these windows. Everything is lit, nothing is dim looking, even with the lights on. And that's the look I was going for. You know, windows on the bottom of the saucer, looking very, very nice. I love the way too on this ship that the windows down here on these decks, they don't match up. You know, they're not the same. On the refit, you know, they're similar. You have 4 windows down here, and then you have 2 on the top, and it's the same all the way around. Here is this just different. You know, each side is different. I kind of do like that, you know, a lot. So I have to get all those masked off here. You know, I'm gonna work to get the saucer painted, so what I'm gonna have to do is bag the rest of the ship, because everything else has color and the saucer doesn't. You know, this is still the color that it was molded in, you know, slightly greenish, whereas, you know, the rest of it is, you know, more gray and then slightly bluish. As you can see here, right now, nacelle looks more gray than anything else. Whereas, you know, you're looking around like in this area, and you can see a little bit of that blue that's coming through the paint and everything. So, you know, really, really nice. Got to go and get some more paint so I can take care of this, because the saucer is huge. The entire model is just huge, but it really, really is a nice kit. Gonna go ahead, go forth, get everything completed, so that hopefully by the next video, saucer will be painted up, everything else will be taken care of, mainly. Maybe just a little bit of additional detail work. I wish I could get us back focused. Oh, and before I forget, you know, give you a little spin on the Bazaar collectors. They are a little noisy because those motors are super huge, but not as no noisy as they possibly could be. So I'm gonna turn those on, and they are looking fantastic as well. Love that look. Bazaar collectors are giving the kind of color that I was wanting to give on screen anyway, on the camera. And, you know, person, you can see a lot more of the blue and that green when it flashes through. But for the most part here on the camera, you're seeing more of the red. And I am glad, though, you can see the fan blades moving with me being pulled back here so that you can see both of them spinning, you know, at the same time. But so far, that is the work that we've got done on this kit. Pretty much the ship is together, and God is so hard, is so large. You know, you have to pull all the way back here just to get it all on screen. But that's okay though, because it's nice. So I will go on, keep working on this kit. Those of you out there building models, keep on building, and I will see you guys on the next video. You guys have a nice day.